Let's see if we can fix that. There we go. Welcome to the Batcolyte. Go ahead and tap the screen and share the live. I'll be getting started very soon. I know we've got a bit of a late start here. But we are here for quite a while. And as we always are, we're here just to ask questions wrong, not to argue with you or debate. I just want to know, well, if you can question your beliefs, then what is it you believe? And why do you believe it? And if you can answer those questions, then maybe we can get to some of the other ones that are right there. Questions do you even ask? Or is it something else? Let's see if we've got any requests. But thank you everybody for people follow.
Hello, I'm 21 years old.
Do you have a belief in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like to end?
Yeah. I'm a Trinitarian Christian, yeah.
Yeah, so why haven't you read the Bible all the way through?
Specific reason. I'm still reading it and still learning. But I hope to read everything. That would be my goal.
Hopefully one day. You said you're 21.
Yeah. No.
Do you believe the stories that you have heard from it to be entirely true and literal?
Yeah, because we have manuscripts to back it up, and I think...
I'm sorry, I meant
genuine.
Literal. So you believe that the 6-day creation, Adam and Eve in a garden, you think those are literal events that happened?
Yeah, I just go by what the Bible says, saying that he created the earth, and he created the earth in 6 days, yeah.
Why do you go by a book you haven't entirely read?
Well, I don't think you have to read it. You don't have to read everything.
Okay, so you don't think you have to read it all to know that it's true.
Yeah.
And I asked you how you know, for instance, the Adam and Eve, and you say because it's in the Bible, which kind of goes back to how do you believe the Bible is true? And you'll say that you just know it's true. How do you know the Bible is true?
Well, because we have manuscripts. We have, for example, in the New Testament, the earliest manuscript of the New Testament is the P52.
Right. P52 is the New Testament. That's a fragment of the Gospel of John. But I global flood. How do old manuscripts tell you that those are true events?
Well, when it comes to do I know Adam and Eve really existed, I don't know. We don't really have evidence of that. But what we do have evidence for is, for example, we have evidence for the resurrection of Jesus. And
right, but I was asking about the early events of the Bible. We could get to the resurrection.
Yeah, well,
but
so
why do you believe in Adam and Eve?
Well, because if the resurrection's true, then the Bible...
So a hypothetical question, do you know how to...
Sure, ask the question again, please.
Yeah, if something earlier in the Bible were false, would that make the resurrection false?
Well, I wouldn't say that, because the reason why I would say that is because if the resurrection is true, and if God is real, it's plausible that the whole Bible is true.
You're saying if the resurrection is true,
And if
then
God
it's
is real, then
right,
then
and if
it's
God is real, those right, and verifies it wrote about, and a God
Yeah.
that you can't see or prove. But there are other stories within the Bible. If any of them were disproven, would that disprove the rest of it?
Well, yeah. I mean,
I
if you
see.
can prove that there are falsehoods in the Bible, then sure. Then I would question if the rest of the Bible is true.
Have you never questioned if the Bible was true or not?
I have. I've asked many questions, and I'm still looking into it.
Have you come across true or not?
I wouldn't say I've come across contradictions. I've come across things that may seem like contradictions, but when you look more into it, I don't genuinely think there are contradictions.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So you don't know of any contradictions within the text?
I personally don't believe there are contradictions. I don't believe that the Bible today is absolutely 100% as accurate as it was, where it's still accurate.
Written. How would you know how accurate it was when it was written?
Oh, because we have manuscripts. We don't have the original manuscripts, but we have copies of the manuscripts, which is
Copies
pretty
of the
good.
copies of the manuscripts.
I think that's pretty good evidence.
Fascinating. Copies of manuscripts that you can't prove exist, telling stories that you can't prove happened, and you think that's good evidence that the rest of the story is true.
I mean, of course, we're not going
Do
to
you know
have
what?
absolute original copies. I mean,
Sure.
if
Do you know what?
even if we did, how would
So you haven't read the text. You say you don't know the Bible handy.
Yeah, I have my computer. So
Which which translation do you use?
I like to use the ESV because that's easy to read.
The ESV.
Yeah. I can go on the Bible Gateway. Yeah, so what verse did you want to bring up?
Well, I wasn't even sure I was going to bring up a verse. I was just curious which translation you use. You'd use the ESV, and you say because it's easier to read.
English translation to read it. But ultimately, if you want to understand the Hebrew Bible, you got to go back to the Hebrew, the original language. If you truly want to understand a verse in the New Testament, you got to go back to the Greek New Testament.
Do you read Hebrew or Greek?
Yeah, I read a little bit. I don't read Hebrew, but I can. I don't read Hebrew or Greek, but I've studied a bit of the Greek for a couple of months, so I have a sort of understand. I don't speak Greek. I just speak English.
True, would go and wander, and you.
Yeah, a little bit. So
I'm
I
curious
go back
about the
to.
Hebrew, though.
But I go back to what certain Greek words are
Sure.
for the words when I'm
I
reading the
heard you.
Bible, so
I
I
heard you.
understand.
Something.
Is a wind tunnel, or is there like a fan blowing directly onto your phone?
That's my fan.
Oh goodness, that was nauseating.
Sorry.
Could not stand it anymore.
Is it better now?
Listen, yeah, let's take a moment and just kind of enjoy the silence.
I may have you go to a verse here in a moment, but
Have read Genesis 2?
Yeah, I've read that.
So when you were reading through Genesis,
1 and 2, and you come across the
the different timelines, the different orders that things happen, how do you reconcile that seeming consummate on the third day and animals
seeming third day? And then in the second chapter, it says that before there were plants, he made a man, and then he made the plants and the animals, and then a woman.
So it has in one order plants, animals, man and woman at the same time. And then in the other order it goes man, plants, animals, woman. How do you reconcile that?
Yeah. So you have to understand what you're reading and understand what it means. For example,
Right, if you were to read it in Hebrew,
and
I'm gonna so if you were to read it in Hebrew, and if you understood Hebrew, and if it were to show the order that I mentioned, we can talk about whether or not it does for a fact, but if it were to show the order I mentioned, the plants, animals, man and woman on one chapter, and then man, plants, animals, woman on the other chapter, how would you reconcile that?
I would have to look into it to see it because I'm not as educated on the Old Testament.
Uh, I'm more an expert on the New Testament. Well, not an expert, I just know a lot more. So, can you give me an example of what you're talking about?
Yeah, I was talking about in chapter 1 how it shows the order of creation, plants, animals, man and woman. And then in chapter 2, it starts with no plants. He makes a man, he makes plants, he makes animals, and then he makes a woman.
And when it talks about plants, could that be like flowers and things like
Animals.
things?
If it's talking about different plants.
Yeah, sure.
Is that what you would say, is that he made some plants on day 3, and then made a man, and then made more plants?
Yeah, I can read it for you. So it was day 3. It says, "And God said, let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. And God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse. And it was so. And God called the expanse heaven, and there was evening, and there was morning, and there was six. That's above the sun. It was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters were gathered together, and together he called seas. And God saw that it was good." So would that be the third day there?
Nope. Keep going.
Okay. "And God said, let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed and fruits, trees bearing fruit, in which is their seed, each according to its kind, on earth. And it was so." And then on the earth brought seed, and each according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and the morning, and the third day. Yeah.
Okay, so there's your third day.
Yeah.
And then the next chapter, it starts at 2:5, where it says, "When no bush of the field was yet in the land, and no small plant of the field had, and there was no man to work the ground, and a mist was going
The Hebrew, then endings end in an ah sound, and masculine endings have a bunch of different sounds. But typically, a feminine ending will end in an ah sound. And when it's plural, it ends in an ot sound. So yalda, but typically dot.
Got muted because there was a loud, scratchy noise. Water, you'll have to unmute to answer.
Where did I get lost?
So you're saying when it's a feminine pronoun, it says and when it's plural, it's like another.
The ending.
Again in the Hebrew.
The ending is vav tav. It's ot ending. Mm-hmm. There's a phrase at Genesis. So, Eila toldot Yitzchak ben Avraham holid et Yitzchak. The Eila toldot, these are the generational stories. This is Genesis 25:19. These are the generational stories of Isaac ben Avraham, son of Abraham. Avraham holid, by the way, same exact construct, caused to come forth, caused to be a son, caused to be born. It's the same hefil conjugation as the Genesis Eila toldot Hashemayim v'haaretz hi barim. Okay, et Yitzchak. So it's essentially using the exact same construct, but replacing Isaac, son of Abraham, from heaven and earth. But point being, the word is plural there, toldot. It's going to tell you all of the stories. Right, they're separate stories. They're not one individual story. Sure, they may be any other way than that.
What do you think of that, Water?
Well, because I don't speak Hebrew, I don't understand it. It's a bit hard to understand, but I'm trying my best to listen and learn.
I'm not saying you in order to accept this, you would need to accept that I'm defining toldot as generational stories, as opposed to this is the story.
Right.
If at least that this is one story, that they would be two separate stories, a story of a 6-day creation in which all the events are written that way, and then another story in which he makes things in a different order.
Just wrong, and the Bible gets it wrong, right? Like okay.
That's not actually the question that I'm asking. What I'm asking is, why does it matter if the Bible has contradictions in it?
Well, I don't believe that myself personally. I don't believe that it has contradictions. But if it had really big major contradictions that you can't reconcile, then it would be a problem.
But why would you even need to reconcile it?
I'm just saying, then it would, if you can't reconcile it.
Let me ask it another way.
You had a question about the text, Water?
I'm saying, what do you mean? Like, what do you
mean by this? All this, what you're saying? Are you saying that the Bible has just got it wrong here? That it's showing two different stories and it's completely contradicting?
No, I'm saying you're reading the Bible wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm just.
I'm just reading. I just read the Bible how I read it, and then I look into what I'm reading. I don't understand. Are you saying my interpretation is wrong, or I'm reading it wrong?
What I'm saying,
How I
he wants it to say.
gotta go to the original language. Yeah.
But I'm doing that for you. I'm handing that to you on a silver platter.
Yeah, but you understand that I don't understand Hebrew. It's a foreign language to me, so I'm trying my best to learn.
If I demonstrated it to you on an iPad, would that be helpful?
Sure.
Okay. Is that okay, Thrayle? Can I turn my screen on for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
If this was shown to you, water, to be not historically reliable or accurate, does that discount everything that the Bible says in your mind?
It's a good question. I'm not sure. I would still have to learn a lot more about it. I'm sure there would still be truths in the Bible.
Do you see what I'm saying here? Okay, so that's the word ele.
Yeah.
Okay. The is implied by the fact that there's a noun that follows it. Its
Do you mind,
existence is implied.
do you mind, water, just muting when you're not talking just because of the scratchy background noise? Thank you.
And then you see the word toldot here. In fact, I can't zoom in on my iPad, but if you look closely, you can see the t and the t sound at the end. They're the same letter. You can see that I'm telling you the truth, that it's toe and oat, because you can see that those are the same letters. And so, I mean, I guess like theoretically they could make different sounds, but they don't. Hebrew vowels are very consistent, kind of like Japanese. Um, okay, and anyway, so at any rate, here's the word toldot. Uh, Descendants, results, proceedings, generations, genealogies, generational stories is what I had translated. The key here is plural, 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 plural. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying?
These are the stories.
And I'm trying to give you a full semantic range. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Right, like I mean, it's
Great word.
one.
Water drop?
I'm guessing he did. But that's okay. We'll keep moving forward. Sorry, Rav, you went through all that work. Maybe he'll look into it.
Well, there's 39 other people that were listening, and hopefully everybody got something out of it. And you know what else those 39 to 41 people could be doing while they're getting something out of it?
I think I do know. I think they could be tapping the screen, sharing the live out. They could probably go down to that share button and hit the repost if they haven't already done that. And if they really want to help and get access to the stickers, they
have already hit the repost.
repost.
Or if they have.
Oh yeah, I've heard that works too. Well, let's see who we do have waiting in queue. I don't know which was first, but I do think this one. Actually, I do think this one has been waiting the longest. I don't think they're still there. Nope. But we can try this one next. Infinity, can I get arguing once? Infinity going twice.
To infinity and beyond.
To Infinity and the comments. Let's try the next one in line.
I'll tell you guys what. I played Thrayle last night, and it's a hard job.
Thrayle, do you
hosting.
need a nap?
She hosted for 7 hours, was it?
7.5.
I have to get up.
Yeah, you should.
I
I got up
stand.
a
I have.
couple times. I also sat in a beanbag chair, so it's like a little.
I always pace when I'm doing this stuff. When I'm on here, I just can't sit still.
I do sometimes. We do have Psalm 91 joining us, but also typing in caps in the chat. Don't worry, just remove that one comment, Psalm. But I do need your age for TikTok, TOS. So we just don't type in caps in the chat unless you're a mod. Need to get my attention. Psalm 91, you're on panel. You'll have to hit your unmute, but you can watch from the comments. We're not interested in that.
It had good entertainment value, so that's nice.
I'm not sure what entertainment value Psalm 91 served. It was. Oh, wow.
Cool.
Thank you, Shell. That was awesome. Thank you for the level ship.
I guess I meant production value, not necessarily entertainment
Making the
value.
text for Square, and then would have helped us actually understand what the random preaching message recorded was. But also, if you want to speak to people like people, Psalm 91, or anybody else who has a belief in a God or gods, higher power, or anything else, well, then go ahead and request on up. I'm not here for a debate or an argument. I'm not interested in proving you wrong or you proving your God right. I am interested, however, in finding out what is it you believe and why do you believe it.
Are you keeping records of any kind? Like, are you like recording any data of any kind?
I have in the past. Sometimes it's just too much.
There's got to be like a way to have like a Google form to like even sharing, like building something in the Batcolyte, like in the Discord that like people can fill out on a regular basis. Like, I think that this is invaluable information.
There is already a server.
This is invaluable information.
There is already.
We call that
Server talk?
yeah, maybe, but the yes, that ultimately is the point, I guess. But like what's the like proprietary? That's the word I wanted to say. I wonder if that information might be proprietary.
I don't know which one.
I wonder if that information might be
Right, release the files.
No, Rav, were you not there when we voted and this became a dictatorship?
There was that. There was the vote for the dictatorship.
We democratically voted for a dictatorship.
It's
It
the
was
only
an
legitimate
overwhelming
kind.
majority, too. Really quick before we do get to a new guest, if anybody wants to request up and tell us what it is they believe and why, well, I would like to know if you can question your beliefs, not just talk at us.
I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. It feels weird to get started this late. We're about an hour
We're in almost. Maybe a little less. No, a little less. We're a little more than half an hour.
Quite a
in.
bit less.
Okay. A little more than half an hour in. It's weird. The time is all wrong.
You won't do it.
I have hit them with the reverse psychology before. I've also tried the whole, like,
Infuriate them into coming up thing. You know, the something like that right there.
Do you want me to remind you about the spreadsheet, or should we talk about that later? Spreadsheet, or should we talk about that later?
Feeling like cheated. Yes, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yes, and then To Be Philly used one very similar for a while.
Interesting.
It was actually pretty helpful.
It was very helpful. I'm terrible at filling it out. Jake did an amazing job, and there were others who were able to volunteer and add to them. And yeah, I have not utilized that in months.
To look up
And
to look at this person before, and then I can see my notes.
Making a spreadsheet is such a Jake thing to do.
it's a very Jake thing to do, and he did it well. It was awesome, and I wish I had incentivized or at least kept up with it myself in some way.
It's such a Jake thing to do.
Oh, we had a request, and that request is gone. I think the "What the fuck is God" scared off any polite conversation, so we'll dial it back for now.
Yeah, these people don't like being asked what God is. I learned that last night.
I know. I liked the way you asked the question. On the screen, of course, it just said, "What is God?" But when they came up, you didn't ask, "What is God?" You said, "Can you tell me what God is?" I liked
It's like
that.
a more like conversational way to say that, you know. But did any of them tell me what God was also? No. Not a single one.
No. Did you get any
Nobody
energy?
told me what God was.
You got one energy. That's right.
I got cults. I got tag, which is
Well, you got one. Well, he's the grounding.
I would say that
I got culty people. I got tag. I got just people who were not very nice. You know what I didn't get? Anybody.
When did like are people really that concerned about this whole grounding thing?
Well, how do you ground your morality or whatever the fuck they say?
yeah, that's what I mean. Well, I
How
think
do you ground your grounding?
How do you ground your epistemology? Like, I don't know what that means, but
You don't know what that means?
no.
How do you ground the way you come to knowledge?
Why?
how do you know what you know?
This is the best answer, which is you take a copper wire and you nail, and a nail, and then drive it into the ground. There you go. Ground.
What was the copper?
To ground your
Cross joke. But I do think that there is an observable human quality that, like, in the same way that we would study any other animal, we can morality or something like that. I think I really do favor my own definition, which I do think I know is novel, but necessarily accepted. Or
Do you think people who are claiming God?
The text is the grounding.
no, I'm saying that it's better than I'm saying that a biological explanation is a better explanation
Than the text.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So, like halfway through, I started talking. I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm about to get questioned." So I was like, why am I talking so much right now? I don't really, you know.
The more I let you talk, the more questions you make me want to ask. You know that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I can quickly try and explain. It's very much still in line with like the spandrel hypothesis, and I think that there is a biological imperative to ask, is this right or is this wrong?
Hmm.
I think that I along with
other
them know, but I think that humans do express that biologically. Necessarily behaviors are biologically.
I see.
Am I
Hmm. I would just wonder how you verify that the need is, in fact, biological.
I highly read McKenna's shit with that goal. I appreciate y'all so much.
And now we just need somebody with a belief to question, if they can, question their belief that they believe and question. What is questioning? When you're God of the process, Rav, what questions do you ask? Thank you, Jade.
actually I saw this really nice. So at our Sunday school today, they had this choose your own adventure uh, storyboard put up all over our social hall, and so like you walk, you kind of blind walk up to these poster boards, and there's like, I mean, probably close to 100 of them throughout the show, like yeah, more than 100 sheets. And if it's not number one of that particular story, and they tell you which number, I'm sorry, this is so confusing. The point is, it's a follow your own story uh, around this room, and it guides you through this story. And the one that I landed on was a young rabbi that was essentially saved from World War II, like leading up to it, and like basically the changing the like the attitude, yeah, like as an adult, like certainty in his youth versus inquisitiveness in his like later years. Like his maturation was inquisitiveness. Sorry, this is the first time I'm thinking about this since this morning, and I'm tired.
Hmm.
We have frogs and tavern music. And if you want to add to the noise of the panel, and you have a belief in God, gods, or a higher power, or something like that, especially if you believe in mermaids, please request up.
We also have a ticking clock. I don't know if you can hear it.
Oh, there it is. I hear it. If you aren't going to tick us off, I actually.
Really?
Why not?
Let's try with Chi Chi. Hello, Chi-Chi. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
Yeah, I'm 37.
And do you have a belief in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like
Yeah,
that?
I'm a Christian.
And have you read your Bible from beginning to end? Believe the stories within it to be entirely true?
Nope.
Are there stories that are not true? Thank you, Jade.
Yeah, most of them are. Especially when you're talking about like Genesis 1 through 11, the primeval etiology, like, and then continuing on from Genesis through 50, I think there are parts that are, I think they're historical. Then moving forward, if we're going to talk about the different prophets, I have opinions on those.
So,
if we're going to go into the New Testament, then yeah, those are literally letters that somebody wrote.
So,
Some of them are from Paul.
And, oh, thank you, political discussion. The New Testament's entirely literal, and some of the Old Testament.
I never said that.
I'm sorry. Okay, not entirely, but it's letters.
I didn't say
so
anything about literalism at all. I was just
sure.
Like
The question. Okay, truth. Then you're saying that it's true letters, and that the Old Testament.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Okay, so
there,
really
there
quick,
are epistles,
Chi-Chi.
but that's not the whole New Testament.
Sure.
No.
Chi-Chi, if you don't...
Are you trying to mislabel what I said?
Okay, we're not going to have this discussion if you're just going to interrupt and argue with me. I'm not trying to mislabel anything. I'm trying to reiterate, see if I understood, and if I misunderstand, then when I'm done speaking, you can tell me that I'm wrong. But if you're just going to talk over me and argue while I'm speaking, we're not going to have this discussion at all, and you can go somewhere else.
Well understood. I'll let you speak.
So, trying to understand.
So we've definitely said previously that Genesis 1 through 11 is mythological.
Mythology.
And it's
thank you.
it's
I wanted to clarify.
Evil history.
Okay.
I've already said that.
So you said it's right? So see how I'm trying to clarify, because you rattled off a whole lot.
Okay.
So you said that Genesis 1 through 11 is mythology, not history. And none of that is true.
It depends on what you believe by true. I think it's mythology.
Okay.
It's true mythology, but I think it's mythology.
What does that mean?
I think it has things to say, and I think the things that it says are great, and I think they're true. But I think it's all 100% mythology.
You think there are things that are true?
That's fine.
I will calm down. If
No, you can request back.
Is it because you realize?
It's because I'm not interested in being spoken over
by somebody who can't even wait for me to get to the end of my sentences. If it had been one sentence, maybe. Sorry, Philly.
If you know how to have an exchange where there is not interruptions, please request up.
Talk TOS.
Hello, you have a wonderful, peaceful voice. How is everyone today?
Doing wonderfully. And do you, Hex, have a
belief in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like that?
Yes, I do.
And what god is that?
I have a belief that God is an energy, a source, not a specific name or a specific person per se.
God is an energy or a source, you said. What is energy?
Energy is an essence, a feeling. For me, anyway.
So, a feeling.
Correct.
What is the feeling?
The feeling You mean personally for me? What is the feeling? It's a feeling. It varies at different times. Could be a feeling of peace, which is mostly what I get. A feeling of you were talking about being grounded earlier. A feeling of being connected. That's basically what it is for me.
A feeling of being connected to what?
To something greater than ourselves.
To something greater, and the source. By
well, it's hard to define when you speak of source. Well, not you specifically. I'm saying people in general. When you speak of source, it's like God. It's and for God, for
connected to a power that is.
correct.
And through a feeling, right?
Correct.
So you feel that you're connected to a power that is.
Correct. But I forgot to say, I'm a witch, so I do things slightly differently, I guess, than most people. But that's what I believe.
And so you is
Currently, I guess.
and so you and you manipulate that power or the feeling.
Well, not exactly manipulate. Now, for some people, it's different. But for me, I don't exactly. I question. But I ask, what does it need of me? What does it want me to do to change in myself? How do I do these things? It's a way of communication, connecting to this energy. I don't necessarily.
When you communicate.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So sorry. I'm sorry. When you communicate with it, is it only to ask it like what it wants there?
I don't question if it's actually there, because I know it's there. I feel it's there. It's been written that it's there, whether it's the Bible, whether it's another book you want to pick, whether it's, it's here, there, and everywhere, that there is something greater than us. All we need to do is ask. And of course in the Bible. But
and we shall receive.
Correct.
And so you think that if we just ask
the something greater, then we'll get what we ask for?
Not necessarily, because we all have paths to walk in this world. And oftentimes we don't know which direction or which way these paths lead. We can't change fate. We can only walk times, I believe, or let me always preface it with I believe. People will go through this life and, say, why am I so unfortunate? Why am I this, that, or the other? And they will sometimes practice whatever they practice to try to manipulate that. It's 3 o'clock in the morning and I haven't had coffee yet, but oh wait, how does one justify the witch in the Bible?
Well, hang on. Yeah, no, he's on panel. He can ask that out loud.
Oh, okay, all right. I was going to answer. My idea, but you go ahead. This is your thing.
Rav, do you want to ask that question?
Do I want to answer that? Well,
hang on.
Okay.
How do you judge?
In the Bible, if you believe that.
Okay.
Thank you, Jade.
I grew up. Let me just say, I have reverends, pastors. My mom was a theologian, studied the Hebrew Bible. I believe in the Hebrew version of the Bible. So I justify, because that basically this is the path that the religions. When I was younger, I studied Hinduism. I studied Islam. I studied his religion. studied this. At 52, I'm still learning, but this is the path that I chose. This is something that I am doing. And how do I justify that? Well, I only believe in I chose. I only believe in the first.
I'm sorry, you believe in the first 4 books. You believe in Genesis. You believe the earth was created in
6 days.
Well, yes.
In
the
first 2 humans.
Well, and Lilith, who was cast out.
I'm sorry, where is Lilith in the Bible?
Where is Lilith? In which version of the Bible? She's not in one version of it. A tiny bit.
Where does the Hebrew Bible talk about Lilith?
Now, I don't know because I can't quote, and granted, I don't have it in front of me, so I can't give you a pinpoint on where. Hold on, missing messages. Okay, on exactly where it is, but she is mentioned, and
interesting. Is there any chance that you could be mistaken, that Lilith is not mentioned in?
I could very well be mistaken. Very well, I could be.
Is there? Do you believe in the global flood, Noah's Ark?
Well, now let me go over my concept of choice. Be careful what you believe in. Now, do I believe in it? I know it exists, yes. Do I knowing? Let me put it that way. And I don't know, because the Bible did take from different cultures and kind of put everything together. It stole a lot of the I don't want to say myths, but a lot of the stories, a lot of from other cultures, and kind of changed them and put them in the Bible. I know it exists. And pumped and said, this is the law and this is what we all should do. It's up to you whether you take it or not take it. So believe in it, it's something that definitely should be, looked at and say, hey, this is something that maybe if it resonates with you, then, believe this. Or follow what it is. We don't know that to be true or not. So.
Thank you, Shell. So you're not sure that it's true. You believe that it's taken from other cultures and
Correct.
Combined some stories.
Mm-hmm.
And you think some people can find some truth in there, and you find
Correct.
truth to fit what that it's about.
So if you want to believe the Bible, then that is your choice.
Does it matter if those things happened or not?
In the end, no. Because what's going to happen in this world, to you specifically as a person, not you, but you know what I'm saying, is going to happen to you. Regardless of what you believe in or not. You can believe it had a lettuce. You're still going to follow the path that you're set to follow in this life to get to your end goal, whatever that may be. You just have to figure out what that is and,
Does your source have to be what you imagine it to be?
Responding to the things that you think it's responding to. Does that have to be true for it to have meaning?
Could you explain that a little better? You said, does my source have
to be what you imagine it to be, what you believe it to be?
No, I could give my source, like I was saying, a face of a head of lettuce.
Does it have to exist at all?
We're really getting into philosophy here. I love it. Does it have to exist to have meaning? Tangibly, physically, no. It does not.
Do you believe that the intentions that you set and set out into your thank you.
Reality.
What was energy again?
Energy is emotion, feeling.
Feeling.
Energy is whatever we work towards. It's
So,
physically, if we work towards something like working towards getting a degree in college.
right. So, but that's
Go ahead. Sorry.
that's putting also physical work into it as well, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, if we're putting physical work into something, then we'll yield some result some way. But if we just sit somewhere and feel something, will that result in something somewhere?
You feel meditate or the earth wash over you. It's like a hermetic principle of vibration.
Well, what I'm asking is if I sit here and I put an intention into something, or let's say you perform a ritual, do and feel it, is that going to make what you wanted happen somewhere else? How is sitting with an emotion? You want it emotion?
Because if you sit with an emotion, say it's anger, and feel that, and you feel it towards a person or whatever, that does change things. It changes things around you. Energy has been shown to change things. It's anger, an energy of just ugh. I'm sorry, and I do mean ugh. Can change. You can sit a plant in front of you, and over time, if you still do that and sit there with that emotion, that plant will change, and you can see that in the effects of what happens to them, and think that plant change the fabric around you. So yes.
So you think around me, and that will
Eventually, yes. If you put enough energy into whatever you sit and feel, yes.
Oops. Just had the wrong person muted.
To whatever.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep up with everything.
Sorry, that's extremely distracting. And there's another one.
Well, I mean, people are saying things, but then again, this is everything that I believe. So
right,
you don't
X.
have
What I'm trying to I'm not looking to believe it or have you convince me. What I'm trying to understand, right? What I'm I understand. No, that wasn't what I was addressing.
Okay.
Spamming caps is extremely distracting to me. So you're saying that you're saying that you can affect things at a distance, and I'm not trying to have you convince me. I'm trying to understand why you would believe that to be true at all.
Well, as personally in my practice, that is what I believe. That is what I have seen. That is what I know to be true. So in my practice, from what I do now, I don't know if I can convince you, but I'm not trying to. I'm just putting out what I believe or what I think. So I don't know. Maybe you can let somebody know. I'm just chatting.
Oops, I must have had a.
Hey, baby. Is that your cat, Hex?
Yes, I have 2 wonderful cats. She wants a
Have
treat.
you always been a witch?
Well, no. Like I said, I studied different religions. So, I converted for a while to Hinduism. And I did that when I was about 14. So, I mean, my mother was calling me a witch when I was calling me a witch when I was young. So in my heart, I knew I was, but I wanted to get to the bottom of religion. So I did study different things, like I said. But yeah, in my heart, I knew I was.
Do you think that it's truthfulness?
Yeah, I question everything until I see it and know personally it to be true as it has worked in my life. Then I question everything. I mean, that's all about being human, to me. And you don't grow, so I constantly question.
What does questioning look like for you?
Questioning. Ooh, y'all, I just love it. This is like almost. This is great. What is questioning for me? Well, I'll look at something and say, this can't be, or is this right? And then I'll sit here, and if it's textual, I'll say, well, what is behind this? Why is this thought being thought? And that to me is kind of sends me down a rabbit hole. It is that I'm trying to figure out. So I guess maybe that answers the question, or maybe it doesn't, but that's kind of my trying to answer the question.
Mm-hmm. What do you think would be the strongest argument against your witchcraft beliefs?
Well, strongest argument against it. Well, what people have said already, suffer ye not a witch to live. What's written in the Bible. But yet in the Bible, of course, there are witches and there is witchcraft and there are all sorts of things in the Bible. Turn around and do it in it. So it's just like conflicting. So it's just interesting. It conflicts itself, the Bible, so I just don't tend to mess with it that much.
Does it matter if what you believe is true or not?
I do.
That's what I grew up believing. Yes.
Why the first 4?
I think that the first 4 were, I don't want to say given by God, I shouldn't really say that, but they're the only things that can actually be proven now in my head. The rest of it are a bunch of prophets telling their stories and repeating themselves. So I don't particularly like the rest of the Bible. Kind of believing, quote unquote, in the first 4. So I don't know if that answers your question, because I have departed from that. And it's been a long time since I've departed from that. So it's kind of hard for me to rewind and answer that correctly, but I tried to. So I hope that helps.
Sorry, you did in the past believe in that, but now you don't?
Well, I know that to be true, or well, I want to say know that to be true. You know, I'm working off no coffee and I have ADHD, so please excuse me if I'm not coming out the way I
Doing
want it
great,
tomorrow.
Hex.
So,
so
um,
relatable.
and it's early and I get up early, so I should be functioning. But yeah, growing up, it was ingrained in my head that the first 4 books were what could be proven. The rest was just a bunch of talk from a bunch of dudes that decided to just write it down all on paper and repeat themselves. So, you know, to me, I just kind of threw that out the window and said, okay, well, this is what was mandated by the higher power, God, whatever. And this is what we should follow, or this is how we should live our lives. And my grandfather studied Judaism, and my mom, that's why she did Hebrew in school. So, I mean, we were all kind of in this mindset that that was right.
Hmm. Are you trying to reference like
No, yeah, the Torah.
Except for Deuteronomy.
that's what I'm so curious about. Why do you leave out Deuteronomy?
Well, it's weird for me as a kid. Like I was saying, I grew up around a lot of people that thumped the Bible and that, you know, were throwing it at me and trying to make me memorize the whole thing. And I didn't want to do that because, of course, I was a kid and didn't want to do anything anybody said. So my grandfather made me study the whole thing. I grew up kind of liking a lot Revelations, and I'm like, well, no, because listen to this is what we should not do, or this is what's going to happen to us in the future. You know, I don't look at anything but like Genesis and the rest of it. Like I said, it's early. I'm not going to sit here and say this book, that book, the other book, because Lord knows I can't remember the damn things. So excuse me.
I just wonder if perhaps you meant the first 5 books, but you just
You know, yeah, could be. But
would be
like I
maybe.
said, I'm 52 and going back to when I was like 10 or 11 to remember the exact. Said because I'm not going to do that. I haven't looked at the Bible in quite a while, so possibly first 4, first 5. You know, I don't go by that anymore.
You don't go by it, but you do still believe in it?
Well, I don't believe as in follow. No. Believe that it exists for some people. Some people should, if they choose to go that path, just say, oh, you know, these first books. So I don't have to look at it exactly and say I wholeheartedly believe in it. No. But to me, growing up, that's what existed for me.
is like necessarily like at odds with. I just feel like we haven't gotten to the bottom of everything, and I feel like I'm thing, and I feel like I'm advocating for conversation.
This is a connection in consciousness between you and your grandfather, and that's why you had that experience on the day of his passing.
I don't think that I'm qualified to answer that question. I don't know. I don't know.
You're not qualified to answer a question about what you wonder and what you question and whether or not
I mean, of course I wonder that, but like I don't know that I have the tools to answer that question. So
right, and that's what I'm trying to understand is I'm hearing the experience. And
what I'm saying is I
just
don't
a second,
know.
First Load.
Philly is still speaking.
I'm sorry.
I'm hearing the experience, and I'm wondering if you draw any conclusions or suspicions, even if they're not full conclusions from them. But I hear you say that you don't know. So I'm wondering if maybe you draw no conclusions from it.
It's difficult to say that I don't draw any like if I said I drew no conclusions from something that emotionally affected me so strongly, I think that perhaps I would be lying. So I can't sit here and lie to you guys. But at the same time, like a conclusion. The nature of the word conclusion is to come to an end result, and I don't think that I've come to an end result.
Sure.
So I've drawn potential conclusions, I would say.
Sure. Can you can you
Expound on this thought. You can actually manipulate sound with people. But like, so I think there's some element there where like
studying instance there. It's pretty hard
I
to
don't think that
describe.
answers Thrale's question.
Yeah, it's a lot, but me personally, I'll say
Let's back it up. Let's back it all the way to the beginning, because I don't feel like my questions have really gotten answered. And if you stop cupping the microphone on your phone, I wouldn't hear myself back so much. That's so much
I was
better.
gonna ask if the microphone's a problem, but
I'm hearing myself back.
oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, that's so much better. So you said to the first question, now it's so much worse. You have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, something like that, and you're saying it's something at the end of everything, and it's divine, masculine, and feminine. Is that accurate?
Well, yeah, but there's a bigger picture to information we didn't get around to. Like, if I can say something, like, what does God mean to you? What would you
It
think of
doesn't
that
matter
word?
what God means to me, because we're asking you about your belief.
Yeah, but this is just to God could be considered godly or godlike within all the.
I would say that any conception of God must necessarily at least those two. It cannot be a God to me.
Like, the essence of existence is a way of mind. You have awareness as you find yourself within all things. And then you have the masculine, which is the thought, the weaving of energy, the existence to experience as awareness.
I'm not sure what you're trying to say.
Right. So, okay, as human beings with our conscious...
Hang on. You're just about to begin a sermon. Wow.